So pretty. It's so pretty. I mean, background's pretty, not me. I was not talking about me.
Train the muscles, not the joints.
So welcome back to Natural Land Bodybuilding, and today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about focus. Focus, Daniel-san, focus! So recently I had somebody ask me, just email, I actually got it yesterday, and this person asked me, they said, Jason, any advice for a person that's got a busy life? They've got businesses, they've got kids, they've got all this stuff going on, and at the same time, how to achieve great things in bodybuilding. Now, my first thing to say for anybody that wants to achieve great things in anything is that focus is the first priority. And every decision you make in your life has to be towards a certain goal. Now, if your goal is to be good at everything, understand that you're looking for a certain type of balance, right? And balance is okay. Balance is good. Balance is a success story for a lot of people. But if you want to be elite at something, like a specialist, obviously being a specialist requires more attention, more focus, and at the same time, yeah, other things in your life might suffer a bit. I mean, you don't see professional athletes managing 10 different jobs at the same time as trying to achieve their athletic endeavors, right? Unless their job is kind of like a retirement career where they get to sleep a lot, take naps, or they have easy shifts or something. So it's the same thing when it comes down to business. It's the same thing when it comes down to being an athlete. If you want to be an elite bodybuilder, there is a certain amount of focus that is necessary there. And one could argue that's not very balanced and it's not a good thing to do, or it's a good thing to do. But there's definitely something to be said for focusing on something or hyper-focusing on something so much so that it's a minor obsession. And sometimes when things become a minor obsession, you naturally become better at those things because everything you do is centered towards that goal. The one thing I want to talk about a little bit is that some people, they have really busy lives. They get next to no sleep every night. And you know, usually the type A personality type people, the goal type oriented people are usually like this. They have a lot of things going on and they're eating right, they're doing this, they're doing that, and they're doing everything except for sleeping right. I mean, a lot of times they don't have time to sleep. They're too busy doing things. They got, you know, all this stuff that has to happen. And then they go into the gym and treat it the same way and then realize that, oh shit, you know, I'm not getting any gains. What's happening? Well, the thing is that your physical body has a certain limited amount of resources. And if you use up those resources, you use up all your energy, you use up all your fuel, you're stressed out from work or you're stressed out from everything you're doing and your cortisol levels are going up and everything, this is also going to affect your training. I'm not one to talk about balance when it comes down to training because back when I was competing, I was not a balanced person when it came down to being good at everything. I was just really focused on being better as a natural bodybuilder, and that's what got me successful in that. But one could argue that that was a big waste of time in some way, you know, because it didn't get me jets, it didn't get me buildings, it didn't get me even satisfaction at that time in my life because I was still unsatisfied. I felt like there was something else to life rather than this whole physical mountain stuff, right? There's got to be more to life, right? All I can say is that everything is about choices. And it's not about right choice or wrong choice. It's more about just understand the repercussion of your choices. If you choose to have, say, 10 dogs, right? And each dog needs to have a walk every day, and each dog, you know, has to be cleaned up after, and each dog needs a certain amount of attention. This is obviously going to take away a certain amount of time in the day from other things. So it doesn't make it wrong, but it does go to show you that this could be a distraction from achieving some goal in some other aspect of your life. So what I used to do back in the day, and it's funny now when I think of it, and it's usually what a lot of successful people do when it comes down to their trade or their art or whatever it is they're doing, is that I would say I took a job, I would see, okay, does this job allow me to eat? Does this job allow me to even work out? Does this job tax me so much physically that by the time I get back home, I cannot lift weights effectively? Like, these would be questions that go through my mind, and I would make decisions based on whether I could do that job or not, or whether it was a better idea for me to try to take a job where I'm making less money, and maybe a lot less money, but I could still train. You know, I would think the same way with vacations. I'd be like, oh, I'm taking a vacation, but is there a gym nearby? Can I actually get my training in? Can I eat properly? Can I do this? Like, these are considerations that I made all the time. Now, right now in my life, my priorities are totally different. You know, training is great and everything, but it's not my main focus. But the thing is that if you do make something your main focus, obviously you're going to have a better chance of achieving elite levels in that focus, right? So yeah, you just have to realize that there's compromise. There's such a thing as compromise. If you're trying to do everything and be good at everything, then obviously some things you know, you're going to break some eggs, right? If you're trying to juggle 17 different eggs at once, one's going to drop from time to time because you got your energy going all over the place, right? So it's the same thing. So now if we bring this down to training, it's the same thing. Efficient use of your energy. Like some people, they're trying to jog, they're trying to lift weights, they're trying to be good at CrossFit, they're trying to be good at powerlifting, they're trying to be good at strongman, then they're trying to be good at running a marathon. I mean, something's going to snap at that point. Remember, you got to specialize and push that body in a way where you're forcing it to adapt to what you want it to adapt to. But if it adapts to everything, it's going to come up with a totally different form. It's going to be like some sort of super robot, but it's not going to be bodybuilding specifically, right? It'll be adapting to the stimulus of endurance along with this. So there'll be compromises that go on. So this is also the way you can look at your training. When it comes down to your training, you look at, okay, what do I want my body to look like? And what do I want to happen with the body? And I have to use the associated stimulus in order to achieve that result. But it's not just exercise for the sake of exercise itself. So you see a lot of the people these days, they just exercise. Oh, let's get a sweat, you know, let's just exercise, let's just train. And that's good. It's good for health, but not necessarily good for bodybuilding specifically. So you have to look at these different factors, right? So remember, focus is key. It's what you focus on. And if focusing on a lot of things all at once and you're happy with the collective sort of agreement of all these things coming together, that's good too. And I would say maybe that's a more balanced life and maybe a better life. But if you want to be elite at something, then that takes different decisions. You have to say, okay, this is the primary focus of my life. This is what I want to go towards. Now, again, one could argue whether that's smart or not. I mean, I could go back and say, oh, being a natural bodybuilder, is that a very smart career move? Well, it was a dumb career move back in the day. I mean, because there's no money for drug-free bodybuilders. There was very little exposure for drug-free bodybuilders. And honestly, if you didn't live in the right place, you weren't getting much photo shoots. And in order to get to those places, it cost lots of money that you never got compensated for. So one could argue that it was kind of a dumb decision. But, you know, I was doing it because it was my passion. So that's why I did it. It wasn't necessarily for money. What do you do, right? Life's just a bunch of decisions. So anyway, I hope this helps you out in your training. I hope it helps you understand that, yeah, I mean, sometimes goals take focus. You have to sometimes put all your eggs in one basket in order to achieve something. And I mean, the Easter Bunny does it. It works for him. All right, thanks a lot to the Patreon supporters. And if you need to get hold of me, just go to naturalglambodybuilding.com and take care for now. Mountain. Mountain.